What's good? It's Extreme Caution. Today I'm finna go over my official WWE Saturday Night's main event review. Finna go over every match on the card, all the outcomes that happen on Saturday Night's main event, all the potential outcomes that could lead later down the road for all these potential feuds. If you like wrestling content, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure you hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of my content. Leave your opinions down below in the comment section. Let me know how you guys felt about Saturday Night's main event. But I'm finna jump straight into the review. The opening match between, well, not really a match. The opening brawl, let's just call it what it is, between Cody Rhodes and Jacob Fatu. So this kind of went exactly how I thought it was going to plan out. They took a formula what they did with not Cody Rhodes, with Randy and Kevin Owens when they feud. This is the same thing they did with them when they feuded around this time. Well, not around this time, before Mania, and they ended up having their Saturday Night's main event match, but it led to just a brawl. I knew this was the outcome of this match mainly because you can't have Cody lose, but you also can't have Jacob lose because it's 1 week before Rumble, and they're both considered guys who could potentially win the Rumble, and you don't want neither guy to lose, especially if they're going to eventually probably be in the WWE Championship scene until Mania, so you can't really have none of them lose. And they end up brawling. Eventually, towards the end of the brawl, Drew McIntyre does interfere, on which I did have a feeling was going to happen. Now, I thought that they was going to have an actual match and Drew McIntyre interferes, but it ends up being they just never been able to ring the bell while they was in the ring. Drew McIntyre eventually interferes, ends up taking the both out, put Cody to a table, and that's the end of the brawl. I like what they did here. Now, I can understand why some people don't like this. They want an actual match. I get it, but like I said, either way, Drew McIntyre was going to interfere either way, and no one was going to take a loss. So for me personally, them doing a match and them not doing a match doesn't really affect the outcome because you're getting the same outcome. The only difference is one would have been a match, one would have the one we got wasn't a match. So I understood why they went this direction. I just hope that if they do have more matches, they don't continue going down that route. That's the only thing. But nonetheless, I understand why they went this route. Now it doesn't make much sense from Drew McIntyre perspective to why he would interfere. Now his reasoning was that he wanted to put everyone on notice, which I understand that, but couldn't you have done that after they had a match? I that's me personally. He could have just done it after they weren't going to have a match regardless. So never mind. Never mind. It works because they weren't going to have a match regardless. They was already so far away from the ring. So yeah, they weren't going to have a match regardless. So it doesn't really matter. But I like what they did here. It was fun for what it was. Build towards the Rumble. Interested to see what they do here, especially due to what happened in the main event, which I don't know how to feel about it because one hand I like it, the other hand I don't. But overall, this was cool for what it was. I enjoyed it. Now moving on to the women's tag team championship match between Rhea Ripley, Io Sky versus the Judgment Day, Liv Morgan, Roxanne Perez. This was a really good match. This was the match that outside the main event was the match that I really enjoyed the most. If I'm being honest, this match was really good. Really enjoyed it. I like what they did here with adding Raquel in the mix, Stephanie in the mix, because Raquel did interfere in the match. There was a moment where I actually believed Judgment Day was going to win, but then Stephanie came out. She's officially healed, which is a good thing because she needs to be healed. We need to see that championship back on Raw. We need to finish that feud with Raquel or continue it if they're going to continue it through Mania. But Raquel eventually does interfere. Stephanie comes in for saves, prevents Raquel, ends up taking her out. This was a really good match. Arguably a great match if I'm being honest. This was really good. Rhea Ripley, Io Sky does pick up the victory. Rhea Ripley does pin Liv Morgan. Don't know if that really changes anything or if that really means anything. I know a lot of Liv Morgan fans are like, this confirms that Liv Morgan is winning. I don't know if that really confirms anything, if I'm being honest. Now some people are saying that Liv Morgan could potentially eliminate Rhea Ripley from the Royal Rumble due to her pinning her in this match, which I could potentially see. So I think it's going to be a lot of things happening in Rumble. I think you could potentially see a lot of like Rhea Ripley, Io Sky teasing potential dissension in our friendship. I don't think neither of them are going to turn heel on each other, but I think WWE would tease that a bit. Potentially could see some teases of Roxanne and Liv Morgan. Roxanne could potentially blame Liv Morgan due to Liv Morgan getting the pin because I thought Roxanne was going to eat the pin in this match and Liv Morgan was going to go after Roxanne and blame her for this. But I can see Roxanne flipping it on Liv Morgan potentially. You could see Raquel potentially getting in the mix, cause more dissension in Judgment Day because, Judgment Day could potentially blame Raquel, even though she saved them, but she could also be like, you didn't handle the Stephanie got cursed, so that's why this could go a lot of ways. I like what they did here overall. This was a good title defense for Rhea Ripley, Io Sky. This could go a lot of ways towards the Royal Rumble, so I'm actually excited for it. I'm excited to see how this all plays out. Now moving on to Shinsuke Nakamura versus AJ Styles. I'm not going to really discuss this match because I'm going to be honest, for me personally, this match doesn't hit as hard as it may hit for y'all because I'm not the biggest Shinsuke Nakamura fan. I understand the history that AJ and Shinsuke have due to their New Japan stuff and due to them being one of the biggest feuds that they had in the 2010s, the WrestleMania match and all that. I get that. It just doesn't hit for me the way it may hit for other fans because, for one, I'm not the biggest Shinsuke guy, and two, AJ Styles, as much as I like AJ, he's never was someone that I adored as much as y'all do, but that's mainly because I never got to see peak AJ Styles. Now, I haven't really gone back and watched much. I know the history of AJ Styles. I just haven't gone back and really watched much of his older stuff. So for me, this match doesn't hit as much for me personally. Plus, I'm not the biggest fan of Shinsuke in ring style and all that. So this match was good. I don't think it was amazing. I think y'all are overrating it a bit. I thought it was a really good match, arguably a great match. Like, I enjoyed the match. This just didn't hit as much because I'm just not that big of a fan of each person. I like AJ. Shinsuke, on the other hand, he's just not it. He's just, for me personally, I understand the appeal to a degree. I do, to a degree, I understand the appeal, but he's just not the wrestler that I typically go for. So it's like, it just doesn't really hit that much for me. It was a good match. I really enjoyed it. Like I said, this is just not for me personally, mainly from a character storyline. I get why they ran this match due to AJ and Shinsuke's history and AJ potentially retiring, so they gave him that one last match. I get why they did this. I'm not mad at it. Like I said, it just doesn't hit as much for me. I'm not as emotionally connected to it, mainly because I'm just not emotionally connected to either of these guys. So it was a good match for what it was, though. I really enjoyed it, though. Now, moving on to the main event, the Fatal 4-Way match, number one contendership match for the WWE Undisputed Championship. Winner gets a championship match against Drew McIntyre at the Royal Rumble. This was a great match. Really enjoyed it. Between Damian Priest, Sami Zayn, Trick Williams, Randy Orton. Really enjoyed this match. Sami Zayn does end up picking up the victory. Trick Williams had a really good performance in this match. Damian Priest took the pin, which I did kind of expect because I'm like, you're not going to have Trick take the pin due to him being new on the main roster, trying to build him up. And then Randy and Sami were my favorites. I was kind of hoping Randy won this match because I don't know what they're going to do with Sami. I really don't, because my heart is telling me that they're going to pull the trigger on Sami at the Rumble. Not him beating Drew. No, I think that there is a chance that he may lose the Rumble, then eventually go enter the Rumble, because people just assume that just because Sami is going to lose to Drew, because Drew's not losing his first title defense. He's not. WWE doesn't do that. They don't make guys lose their first title defense. Drew McIntyre is not going to lose his first title defense. No. He's going to beat Sami because that gives him more heel heat. That builds him up as a more credible heel. So I'm assuming they're going to continue to tell that story, because also you could easily have Sami potentially win the Elimination Chamber down the road. But I think there is a chance that he may lose earlier in the show and then enter the Rumble later, because the men's Rumble is going to be the main event most likely. And you could always have him enter at like 25 or 28 late in the match, where it doesn't affect him as much as it would due to him being entered later in the match. So this could go a lot of ways. Or you can have him lose, make him lose the Rumble, win the Elimination Chamber, build that story longer. Or he may not win it. Maybe he won't get the championship match at WrestleMania at all. This could just be a little thing that they're just doing, and then they may just doing a triple threat match between Jacob, Cody, and Drew. They may just do that as well. So who knows? But I'm very mixed, because like part of me is saying that they're going to do it, they're going to pull the trigger. But the other part is saying is that they're not going to do it. The other part is telling me that they're going to have Sami lose the Rumble and have him not enter the Rumble at all. That's the other part that's telling me. Like, it's like my heart is telling me that they're going to pull the trigger on Sami, but my brain is telling me that they're just not going to have Sami win at the Rumble. Like, it's very conflicting for me personally, because I think Sami is long overdue for a world title. The amount of hate that he gets on the internet is very weird. It makes no sense to me personally, especially because some of the criticisms that he gets is very contradictory, because people will be like, he's been the same character for years. Like, people don't like LA Knight, who's been the same character for 3 years. Same with Cody, same with Randy Orton. Like, there's plenty of characters who's been the same character for years. I just say you don't like the character, that's fine, but don't use that as an excuse. And then people bring up he's an underdog. Like, yes, like Sami Zayn is a underdog. I don't understand why people think he's not. You can't not be an underdog without being a world champion. I don't understand it. Like, against Drew McIntyre, he's an underdog. He's 11-0 against him. Like, he's 0-11 against him. He's an underdog. In this match, he was an underdog. You have Damian Priest and Randy Orton, both guys who won world championships. He's an underdog, and that's any person he faces who has won world championship gold, he's an underdog against. I don't understand why people think he's not. It makes no sense. But nonetheless, this was arguably the best Saturday Night's main event they have ever put on, to be honest. Overall show was a great show. It was a great show from top to bottom. There's nothing that I really hate. There's no real decision that I didn't like, even though as much as I wanted Randy to win, mainly due to me wanting Sami to win the Rumble. Sami getting this opportunity, it's just a W in itself, and he could potentially still win the Rumble, so who knows. But I enjoyed the show. You guys let me know your overall thoughts and opinions down below in the comment section. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Make sure you hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of my wrestling content. But yeah, that's it.